Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Redefining Wellness podcast. It's your girl Nique, and I hope that you are feeling wonderful, awesome, and amazing, and all the things that makes you. Y'all, my voice is coming back. She's coming back. For those of you that were concerned about me, the voice is coming back. Thank you all for coming back to the show that helps you to redefine the way that you view wellness, one episode at a time, so that you can be healthy unapologetically and authentically, so that you can take up as much space on this earth if you want to. Y'all, we have another super awesome people episode. But before we get into it, remember our housekeeping rules. If you are new here, hola, ¿cómo estás? Remember to like, rate, review, subscribe, especially for our friends that are watching on YouTube. If you've been here for a while, y'all know how we do. Today, I am chatting with Aliesha from Black Girls Den Podcast. And we're kind of going to switch some things up today with our segments. But y'all are in for a super duper treat. And without further ado, Aliesha, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Hey, everyone.
Yes. So I always do this with my guests. I would love for you to describe yourself. How would you colorfully be like, oh, this is me?
That's a great question. This is me. Got me on the spot. I would say, well, first, my name is Aliesha. I am a lover of travel. I love to have fun. I love to experience life. My friends would say that I maybe have the gift of gab and that I don't meet a stranger. So I would add that too to the, pot. But yeah, I love all things like pink, uh girly type thing, so I like use that to express myself, like my nails, I love getting my nails done, so I'd like to
Period.
just use things to, like, express my personality like that, so that's me in a nutshell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then real fast, tell us a little tidbit, like a quick tagline of your podcast.
Black Girls Den Podcast is where womanhood meets media.
Yes, period. And that's why I told y'all we're going to be kind of switching up the segments today. So before we get into
Yeah.
the meat and potatoes of today's episode, y'all know our segments. We're going to start off with Song of the Week. So is there a song, an album, a show, anything musically related that you're feeling right now?
I would say that something that I've just honestly been listening to this week. It's been for a while, but you don't be always knowing the artist is. I really like coming through. I like Come Through and Chill. Do you know that song? It's with Miguel and J. Cole.
Yes, I love that song. Come through. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, I do like that song. There's another song though, in the negative. It's not negative, but it's I can't really. I'm trying to figure out who it is. I was looking for it, but it's G Herbo and somebody, and it's like, tell me what you need, tell me what you need. I really like the singing on it. I'm not really a fan of G Herbo's rap part, but yes, those would be on my list.
So so for me this week, one, I didn't know that G-Eazy was white. I had no idea.
That is hilarious. How
No
did you
idea.
know?
I was my best friend and her husband hosted me and his best friend for a game night for New Year's. And so in
Mhm.
the background we just had like music videos and stuff playing.
Mhm.
And the song that he has with
With Cardi B.
yes, the
Back
video
back
came
in
on.
the
That and with ASAP Rocky,
I ain't know this.
If I hit it one time, I'm a
Oh,
piper.
I thought that was backing it up. No, it's not.
It's
Oh, if I hit it one time,
yeah,
oh,
it ain't safe something.
it ain't safe. It ain't safe. Other black, other white, something like
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm looking and I see the person rapping and I said, that's what G-Eazy look like? And my friends, homeboy looked at me and was like, "Yeah, Anthony, you didn't know that Jeezy was white." I said, "No." I was like, "Since I don't like music videos isn't a thing." I
I
don't want to say it's
know.
not a thing, but it's really not a thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in maybe the ninth or the 10th grade. I
Mhm.
remember we had, like, MTV Jams,
You remember BET Top 10?
BET Top 10
I
Live, yeah,
watched
we had
that.
Lexington
Yes.
Park, and
Mhm.
we were watching music videos, but I feel like now
Yes.
you have to, like, seek out the music videos, and I'm
Yeah.
like we used to put music videos on, like, MTV used to do, like, the early riser music videos, and they
Mhm.
would put it all on, and you were getting ready for class, like, when I was an undergrad. You're getting
Mhm.
ready for class watching music videos.
Do you know how much they played Alicia Keys' "You Don't Know My Name" music video? I know the whole song in the line just because of that. I feel like now it's like the single comes out and it's like, "Oh, now it's the music video."
Mhm.
After, and you gotta, like you said, you gotta go on YouTube. You gotta be subscribed to the YouTube channel
And
to
I'm not trying to do all of that.
figure out when the music video come out. Like, come on, y'all.
To do
Yeah.
that. Like, I miss the days, like, gone are the days, even when I was an undergrad, it would in between classes, I'm
Mhm.
turning on MTV because MTV would just play music videos, and
Really?
then, like yes, girl, like, if you so MTV would play music videos, like, 6 a.m. to, like, 9. And then by that
Mm.
time, I'd already gone to class. So
Yeah.
then if I had a break if I had a break in my day, I would go back to my room and they might have maybe a little music video block or MTV2 had a music video block on. So I would
Mhm.
turn to that and I would just have the music videos playing as like background noise while
Mhm.
I'm like, doing homework or I'm studying or doing something like that. But now I'm not getting on YouTube. Like, if you know how long it took me to see that daggone Lover Girl video?
Yeah. I don't know if it took me that long personally because I seen people when people talk about it on Instagram, then I go to watch it on YouTube. So I seen the snippets and then I went to YouTube. So,
Uh-uh.
but I can understand how it takes you a while because you gotta get off one app to go to another app. By the time you forget all of them. But I did not know when in between classes, I feel like I was asleep, so I wasn't watching nothing.
No, I was
I was
watching
just
that.
back to back.
I was watching that, and then, like, I would get out of class for the day at, like my last class would end at, like, 2 o'clock,
Mhm.
and I would go to my room, and then by that time, 106 and Park came on. 106 Park came on at 6, but TRL came on first, so I probably watch a little bit of TRL.
What was that? I didn't watch that.
Total Request Live on MTV?
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch that.
Oh,
Okay.
girl. 106 and Park was the answer to TRL.
Oh, see, I just watched BET. I really honestly didn't know about MTV
Girl.
until later. I didn't watch it
MTV
probably MTV to like MTV Cribs or something like that. Like,
they would do so years ago, they had, like, The Box. The Box was
mhm,
a channel, it just had music videos all day, but people would call and pay to show the music videos, but what they would do on The Box is they would show snippets of the video to, like, entice you to wanna watch the full video, right? So you had The Box, and then MTV, they had, like all like, before, like, the reality show takeover, they
mhm,
did a whole bunch of different music video segments, like, all day long. Like, you had, like during, Yo MTV Raps, they used to do music videos, but they would also have, like, artists come on and they talk about do interviews and things like that, but they just had music videos all day. Like, TRL was that girl. That was, like that
ooh,
was how we saw, like, Britney Spears 'cause it came out around that era when Britney Spears first came out,
mhm,
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, they would do
mhm,
live performances, like,
mhm.
them white
So
girls was
BET
going
was
crazy.
so BET was like the other.
It was our version of
Mhm,
TRL, but what BET did a little bit better was TRL was only an hour. 106 and Park was a full 90 minutes. So 106 and
mm,
Park, you got the good interviews, you got
mhm.
longer snippets of the music videos, you got
Mhm.
performances, you got
Yeah.
Freestyle Friday, you
Okay,
got
baby. They had the whole awards. I do remember Freestyle Friday, they was trying to rap and stuff like that. I remember that, yeah. And then it was like the music videos in between the talking and the crowd. It was live. It was the live audience. There was a lot going on when you think about it, child.
it was, and that
Mhm.
was the thing. I think what they did at BET, they studied TRL and they said, "Alright, TRL isn't really bringing on a lot of Black artists." They weren't. It
Yeah.
just
That
wasn't
was
a
the
lot of
BT
Black artists
effect.
going over
Mhm.
there. And then when 106 and Park came out, the white artists started coming on 106 and Park. So,
What?
like, NSYNC was coming on 106 and Park. Justin Timberlake, when his first album came out, there was going Mariah,
What?
Eminem. Then, like, the movie stars started coming on to 106 and Park. Like, the
Oh
white
my
movie
god.
star 106 and Park, like, really, like, came through and they literally added seasoning on
Mm,
top of the recipe,
and they
and
came
they
out.
lasted, I wanna say a wee bit longer than TRL, I could be wrong, but, like, from TRL, we got Lala Anthony, you know what I mean? Lala used to be the host
Oh.
of TRL.
Is that where she came from? I honestly did not know anything that she did besides be Carmelo Anthony's,
Oh, no,
wife.
she came from MTV. She was a what they call them video jocks or VJs. She came from MTV.
I did not know that.
Mhm.
Isn't it so sad though with the culture? Like, it's just like everything moves so fast and stuff is going because that was a little bit, of course, that was before YouTube even came out because YouTube came out later, like, they said like 2007, 2008, or maybe like 2009. But it's like everything changed. But it's like dang, 106 in Park was like that that show. And do you know it was named 106 in Park because that's the street that it was on?
Yep,
Like,
yep.
I'm like, what? You think it's like so original? And they're like, no, it was on 106 in Park.
Yeah, girl, my high school took a trip, and the senior class went to a taping of 106 and Park.
What? That is so cool. They
They
should bring it back.
they changed the culture. It really, and that's why I say it's so sad now, like, nobody music video culture to me is
Mhm.
not the same as it was, and then also, they're not even, like, storytelling the way that they used to in music videos. It's like everything, it seems very shock value, whereas you think about You Don't Know My Name, right?
Yeah.
It was a
Mhm.
she was telling a
This story, yeah,
story.
she was at the cafe trying to, yeah, mhm. That
You
man
know
was
what I'm
coming in
saying?
trying to get something like, what you trying to talk to me? You don't even know my name yet. Okay.
You
Yeah.
know,
You
like
remember? I wasn't gonna say that too. I was gonna say I feel like storytelling is different now, but to your point about the shock value, everybody was complaining about the Meg video, like what she did. Like they was like, y'all thought Meg changed just because she said she's a lover girl, but she does shock value. Like you see what she did with Cardi, like that is her, and that could be her story, right? Too. I don't know, but like that is her music. That's the type of music she does. So she's gonna give you some. It's more like giving people a show versus like telling a story. I think.
mm,
Like these new music videos are just like giving a show to whatever it is, whatever you're talking about. Because I
yeah.
mean, heck, even the top, like the music videos, like you be like, okay, that's cute. Like it's more just like I feel like they do it, like
It's the only, and because back in the day, when I think about it, Missy was the shock value back in the day.
yes, I love me a good Missy Elliott.
She was the shock value. Busta Rhymes was the shock value. Like, they were giving those types of things, but I feel like even I love my girl down, but Beyoncé, I feel like with her music videos, like everybody is going for this avant-garde or this like you're trying
Mhm.
to get the girls going, you're trying to get the people talking. Give
Mm.
me a story.
Now I
Give
feel like Lemonade was a story.
it the album was, but I
Yeah,
feel like but the video, it
the
was
visuals, yeah.
the
If yeah, even
visual.
if you think about Chloe Bailey, like, girl, how does the video go with the song? What's the story? So, yeah, I can see that.
You
Mhm.
know, so, and then I was gonna say the other thing that I was gonna say, musically too is I just started listening to Brent Fayez.
Fayaz? Mm.
Yeah. Wow, that's some toxic R&B, but it's really good.
Couple of his songs, honestly, I don't really know too much about him, but my friends love him. And I
I
know this
see
one boy
why.
oh, this one boy, I know he, like, loves me. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is interesting." I said, "This is interesting song choices." But I never listened to my other friend, she loves him, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool." but
And he's from the DC area. I had no idea he was
oh,
from here, but I was like, "Wow." Usually I'm not a sad girl R&B listener, if that makes sense. That's just not
I'm
my
not a Summer
vibe.
Walker girl, no.
The Janaes, it's just not my thing. I don't wanna be yearning. I'm
Yeah,
not yearning for nobody.
I'm trying to have fun. Cardi B me.
I'm on Ken the Man right now. Ken the
Yeah,
Man right now.
okay, yes, period, Ken the Man, yes, love her.
All day, every day. Okay, period,
Did you know,
period.
random fact, just because 'cause we're talking about music, we're talking about Alicia Keys. Do you know her song, like, "You'll Never See Me Again" is about her grandma?
So why she have Common in that damn video? Talking like
Cause it's a story. Cause it's literally about her grandma, and when I listen back to hear it, I can't she said she talked about it on the Red Table Talk. It was about her grandma, you know, and she was talking about how she was thinking about more morbid things. In the song, it says, "Homie, like, you'll never see me again, homie."
what?
She was, like, taking care of her grandma. So I'm like, "Hold you," like, it sounds like a romantic song, but it literally was about her grandma, cause her grandma was getting sick and, sadly, like, passing away, like, dying, and so that's when she was like she was writing that story. To the eyes of us, that could sound like
Yeah,
a romantic thing, so she probably sung it and, yeah, that's to her, but, like, you know, when we get stories and trying to sell stuff, and that's she's R&B, like, that's who she is, so I think that's how they sold it. As
yeah,
a your partner, because, I mean, if you think about it, sadly, even romantic relations, like, people do pass away, and it's really sad and stuff like that, but when I listened to it again, I was like, "Oh, I can see how this is about her grandma," because she was, like, just saying certain things about, like, "You'll never see me again," like, "I don't wanna miss you," like, cherishing the moments and every memory. I was like, "Oh, okay, I could see it goes both ways," and then it just makes it more sadder or whatever, but yeah, I would thought that was interesting that it was
hmm,
about her grandma.
that's very interesting. Yeah, cause she had Common was all in that video.
I didn't even see the music video, so you doing better than me, girl, but if I probably did see it, but I'll have
I
to watch
wanna
it again.
say yeah, I wanna say Common was in that video, was her love interest.
And quite frankly, possibly because this whole time until last week, I thought it was about a man.
Flowers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You see?
Now Imma listen to that song completely different now.
Yes, you do. You literally listen to it completely different. Now I'm listening to everything that she's saying. Now I gotta go watch the music video to be like, "Hey, this was about her grandma." I'm just playing.
Like,
Where's the grandma?
I
Let's
really
bring in the family tone.
yeah, I really think Common was in that, but Alicia, Lord have mercy.
Now we just had a whole thing about, music videos, but yeah. Mhm.
So, our next segment, y'all, that we're not gonna do what's Nique watching because the meat of the episode is gonna be what's Nique watching, but it's gonna be more so what's Alicia watching. So we're gonna slide into and so my therapist said, and these are moments where your therapist has drug you by your front teeth, you know, really held you accountable, told you something about yourself, made you walk away like, damn, you're right, or moments where a mentor has dropped a really good gem on you. So, do you have one this week?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm kinda going through a transition of, like, work, like, you know,
Mhm.
just navigating, like, job search, applying for jobs and interviews and stuff like that, and I recently got, like, a job offer,
Mm.
and I'm a little hesitant about it,
Mhm.
but talking to, like, my basically, she's kind of like a coach. I just say career coach because that's what she's coaching me on, but she's like a coach in general, and, she was just, like, giving me some advice about, like, you know, reaching out and, reaching out to people because I was just gonna be like, you know, "I'll just see what it is, go with the flow." She's like, "No, like, reach out to people if you have questions, just, you know, send an email to them, ask them questions." And she was like, not to go into, like, with a negative perspective because there's just some things that, like, I'm not really sure about with the role. And she's like, "Okay, but, like, what are pros, you know, about it? And maybe like what questions can you ask to see if you can kind of get your answers for the stuff that you're unsure about." And so we kind of like came through with a list to kind of like figure out what I should ask. And so I think her advice was good to be like, okay, you should, you know, email them, ask them this questions. For an example, it's like, if I don't get a sick day, can I still take a sick day and just not get paid for it? I don't
Mm.
necessarily think about stuff like that because all my jobs I've had sick time, right? So it's just like, okay, but it's just like seeing from a perspective, and she's from HR. So I'm like, okay, you know, speaking with somebody from that, giving me advice on how to navigate these conversations to be able to ask to kind of get my answers instead of just going in like, "Oh, okay, I'll just figure it out, the day of," because I do like to know stuff, and I feel like people should tell people information, but everybody can't be a good manager is
Yeah.
what she said, actually. She's like, "Everybody's not a good manager, everybody's not a person of the know," and so just knowing how to navigate, when you feel uncomfortable and going in that process. So some things are uncomfortable, and just let's try to figure out to make you as most comfortable as you can, so,
I love
um,
that.
yeah, that was kind of helpful to just kinda see it being like, "Okay, what can I do to make me more comfortable, to make me understand? Because 'cause I'm kinda confused right now," to, "Okay, here's what you can do, and
Okay.
here's how you can do it," and to
Okay.
be
Period.
yes.
Period. All right. Yeah. I mean, that is definitely it gets uncomfortable, especially going into something new, experiencing change. It's uncomfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I've learned that, change is the way of life. I hate
Yes.
change.
Same. I hate change. I'm too Taurus for change. I'm too Earth sign. I'm too dug in my heels for change. But I work on it every day.
Yeah, and it's just like, at this point, that's the only thing that's constant. So, you just gotta figure it out and keep moving. Only thing constant is change. So, yeah. And I do wanna add, you was right, I'm so sorry. I looked it up and Common was the love interest in
See,
there. So you
I
was
knew I
right.
remember
I
that.
gotta watch the music video when we get done though, but
You
yeah, I wanted
should.
to let you know.
It's
Yes.
alright. It's
Oh,
I mean, it's not a to me, it wasn't a video to write home about. I just
you just remember that it was I just wanna see if the
Mhm.
story, if it
Yeah.
says the story. Now that I have different perception of who it was really about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
for
yeah.
me this week so my therapist said I actually had therapy yesterday, and so I
Okay.
love when I have therapy and then I record. I try to wait until I have therapy to record or give a gem.
Oh, so you can know.
Right, so I can it be fresh on my noggin, and,
Yeah.
actually, y'all will be, for the friends that have been listening to the show for a while will be very intrigued. So this week, my therapist gave me a homework assignment
Mhm.
because I was telling her that I've been having some, like dating has been and
It's been what?
And she asked me, she said, "What do you feel like you're missing out on right now?" She was like,
Uh-huh.
"Why is like dating or just what do you feel like you're missing out on?" And I said, "I don't feel like I need anything from somebody, but one of the things that I enjoy, like I like a lot of sports documentaries. Like I enjoy sports. I love to have boy talk about like boy things. And I don't have anyone to talk about that stuff with. My girlfriends don't do sports. They're not I can't be like, "Y'all, I just watched this really good documentary about the Florida Gators." They're gonna be like, "Anthony, who fucking cares?" Like, I didn't
Who is the Florida Gators?
okay, okay, okay,
Is
okay.
it football, basketball, channel, soccer? I don't know.
So, it's like stuff like that. Or even like college football. I'm a really big college football fan. I like college football versus the NFL.
Okay.
That was something that me and my ex-boyfriend, we really connected on, like college football, that was our thing. This first year of college football of and being like single, I was
Mm.
when it started, like when college football started up in August, and I remember I met with her and I was just like, I just feel really sad because I'm so pumped and so excited for this time of year. And it's not the same. And so she was like, all right, well, this is what I'm gonna give you an assignment to do because like I do March Madness, like I do the whole thing. And
Okay.
so she was like, I want you to find a sports bar and you're going to go to the sports bar and you're going to watch the game at a sports bar and strike up a conversation with somebody. And I was like, okay, okay. And it's not hard for me to have conversation with people. I'm like you. I can talk to a stranger anywhere and make a
Mhm.
friend. But I'm like, ah, I have to talk about sports with somebody that I don't know. Like, okay. So that's my assignments. I meet with my therapist every 2 weeks. So by not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, I have to tell her that I went to a sports bar.
Oh,
And
you did it.
I haven't
You
done it yet. I haven't
you
done it
have
yet
you have to do it within these next 2 weeks?
within the next
Is
two
there
weeks.
any football games? I mean, oh, I'm saying football, child, basketball, I don't even know. Look,
What? And the NFL is in the middle of the playoffs right now, so it's
Yes, they
playoff
are.
season.
Mhm.
College basketball is back on. Regular
Okay.
basketball is back on.
Okay, you got some options.
Lots of options, to check out, so
That's good. Well, I
yeah.
hope that you get there. I was gonna say, have you ever thought about even starting not just really starting your own community? I don't know if you do things outside of Instagram, but like if you do meetups or if you do like BFFs or even threads like talking about like sports, like finding women who love sports. I feel like, that people are out there. I don't really know, but have you ever thought about kind of like that? Finding women who like those sports and maybe trying to meet up with them or go out with them or anything like that? Are you like
Actually not a bad idea. So I did find this Threads group. I think it's called Black Girls Love Football, but I
mhm,
don't know if they're based in DC. But my therapist was saying, she was like, you need to go to these spaces so that you can meet people that probably already have the communities. And then she
mhm,
was like, as it gets warmer outside, you'll be able to do like the hiking meetups and the people that
mhm,
are,
mhm,
very active and all of those things. So she's my big goal that she's been really holding me accountable on is because I live alone, I recluse and I'll just go to work and come home, go to work and come home.
mhm,
And her main question to me every week is, so how are we social this week? What did we do to get out of our comfort zone? Because I'll
mhm.
come home, wrap myself up in my blanket, make my dinner and go to bed.
But you don't wanna do that.
I don't wanna do that. Like, but I also struggle with calling people and saying, "Hey, I wanna go do this thing. Do you wanna go do this thing too?" So
Mhm.
she's trying to get me to either call somebody to do the things or to just go do the things.
I feel like we're opposite because I do live alone now. I wouldn't say I hate it, I understand, but even before this, I was just watching TV, like, I feel like living alone is kinda boring, and I do wanna go out, like, so I've been really utilizing but, the budget is kinda tight, so I've been utilizing my local library, not that I know of anything about that, it's like with football or sports, but, like, I went to an English conversation club where people are, like, trying to learn English thing, and I was going to go coloring that yesterday, but my phone got messed up, but, like, tomorrow I'm going to a cooking class, like, I've only do it so I'm being more intentional about going to different things that I wanna do, but, like, using the library as, like, a community because I wanna be involved in the community because I really don't like being at home, and I don't mind calling people, but it's the fact of, like, my people, like, they might be busy or they might not wanna do it. I have friends who are in school, I have friends who are married, people were so I feel like mine is kind of like just trying to meet people where they are, so that's why I'm thinking like, "Okay, library," and I met somebody at the library when I went there. And so that's kinda how I'm trying to combat that. So but I feel like it was kinda interesting because it's like you're opposite, like, you like to be at home and calling people, it's like, I don't like to be at home, but I don't mind calling people."
I don't fully like to be at home, like now when I'm tired, I'm tired, and I'm like, "I need to stay in the
Mhm,
house," like, I'm exhausted, but so, like, in my neighborhood, we have, like, business districts, like, all of
mhm,
the different neighborhoods have their own little business districts, so they'll have, like, events, and they'll do stuff or whatever, and I actually ran into one of my, homeboys, his sister actually lives not too far from me, and she was like, "Yeah,
mhm,
girl, they be having all these events, you need to go here, you need to go there, blah, 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 blah," and so I did make and I've only been living by myself again for 6 months, but it's cold and then it's cold outside, like, here it's
It
cold
was freezing.
and it's like, I don't wanna go do the things, but, usually on the weekends, I do stuff, but I don't wanna be a weekend warrior. That's what I told my therapist. I want to
Ooh.
be able to do things during the week too. Like, I don't wanna stuff my weekend with stuff. Like, I should be able to get off work at, like, a 3:30, and then maybe there's something that happens at 6
Mhm,
and I
mhm,
go.
mhm.
So I'm trying to do better with that type of stuff.
Yes, that makes sense. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't really do that. I live for the weekend. I'd be like, I go to stuff during the weeknights. Actually, I love going to the weeknights. Let me stay at home on the weekends because that's when everybody, they mama be out and I'm
And that's
girl.
what I heard during the week is a way better, like, time to go out because it's not
Yeah.
everybody and their mama that's outside at the same
Yeah.
time.
And they're gonna catch on to it too quick. But I've been going out weeknights since like for like a couple years. My friends like, you're always out. Yeah, on Friday nights when y'all out, I'm in the house. I'll
Yeah.
go to the so day night, I'll go out to the mall. Like I like to do stuff on weeknights and it just takes time to just like woosah. And then I don't feel like, because I don't feel like I'm rushing. You only get 2 days off. Well, I mean, some people like if you work full
Yeah,
time, you only get 2 days off, and good gosh, you gotta clean, wash, and then if you go to church, you go to church and you relax. Like I don't want to cram all my stuff in 2 days. So no,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. So
No, I
yeah.
love that. Yay. Oh, so then I challenge everybody. So if you're listening, you're watching, and you know me, hold me accountable this year. Cause even my homegirl has had to do that to me. She sent me a list of like all these events that are happening. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be crowded. It's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. She was like, we're not doing that this year. We're not doing that this year. We're
Period.
not doing that this year. So, and I don't know if your city does this, but we have like influencers, a lot of influencers that are based in DC, and they'll create like this one black girl, her name is Talia, and she'll create, here's all the things that are going on this weekend from this date to this date. And she
Mhm.
just creates a list of events and she posts it on her social media. Like this weekend is MLK weekend. It's big in DC because everybody's off work and everybody goes to brunch. Literally, people are just drunk the whole weekend from Friday until sometime on Monday.
Mm.
Everybody's drunk or MLK parades, all of the things. But I told myself this year I'm going to be more actively social versus
Mhm.
passively social.
Oh, that's really good. Actually, I am kind of the one that posts stuff.
Okay, period.
Yeah. There's other people, but, it's other, I would say, races and ethnicities that post things that go on about it. I feel like this city doesn't have as much. There's a lot of free things and different things, events, but it's kinda like it just depends on your vibe. But there are people and there are places that have things. Like, I don't know, like, of course, like, I think it's the Muhammad Ali Center, I'm in Louisville.
Yeah.
They're gonna have something for, like, MLK Day, like, there you can go to the museum for free, and there's something that's happening on Sunday, like, but it's not as, like, so much of, like, things happening, like, for us, per se. It's like, when I was in Atlanta, I, like, volunteered and I did stuff like that. Um, like, so, yeah, but it's here, but it's kind of far in between. You gotta, like, find it, so.
Okay. Okay.
But definitely,
Period.
I do think about being social. I think it's very intentional, to be social, especially when you are living solo and stuff like that, just to have that, that community and that socialization. Because I was like, one thing is too, is like I worked from home too. So I was like, I had a part-time job where I would get out, where I would be. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Last weekend I was out the whole weekend. I was like, whoo, child, I was like, okay, let me stay inside for a minute. Okay, let me not spend no money because that will get you. But
Yeah.
I think it's important too to have those times to know, like, okay, if I work from home, and I think as adults, we have to have something to look forward to. Like so many times, if there's nothing to look forward to, like your schedule and your life just becomes mundane. Like, especially if you're not in college, if you don't have children, if you're not looking for a promotion, like you gotta schedule a trip, you gotta schedule something, hang out with your friends. Like, I feel like that's the part of like freedom that I don't think that people really attach to. And so I'm like, I'm all about freedom, free will,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna use my time to my autonomy and what I want to do. So I feel like it's me kind of taking back my power for the people who can't do it.
Felt that. I've been seeing on TikTok this one guy, or actually not even just this one guy, but a few creators. They'll be like, I'm at home and I'm remembering, damn, I got free will. I live by myself. I can do what I want to do. And
Yeah.
he's just like sitting in his bathtub, like watching a video. And
Hmm.
one day I was in my room and I was thinking about, I was like, I have free will to do what I want in my apartment. And I went in my
Yes.
back room and I just pulled out my yoga mat and I lay there and I watched TV in the back
Y-
room. So I was
Yes.
like, I have the autonomy to move around this earth the way that I want to, especially because I don't really have anything that's super attached to me.
Yes, and then I do agree with that. I was like, I have free will. I was like, I have free will. I could go people watch. I was like, let me go take a book and go to Barnes and Noble and just read and just do. I don't have to sit in my apartment to just read. I could take it out with me. I found this spot in the library. It was really nice. Speaking of the cars and stuff that we were talking about before we recorded, it was a highway. So I was like working and I was like, oh, it looked like kind of like foresty, but you could still see like cars. I was like, oh, this is relaxing. Like I'm typing and I'm writing and I get to still see something because in my apartment I don't really get to see nothing because
Mhm.
nobody's driving. But I'm like, I was like, I could come and work out of this library all the time. Like I love the scenery. It's chill. It's relaxed. So I say use your free will. If you don't get nothing else out of this episode.
Period. Yes, yes.
Use your free will, baby.
Use that free will. Absolutely, absolutely,
Yes.
and I think free will this is a perfect little segue for us to kinda get into the meat and the potatoes of this episode,
Mhm.
and, everybody that's listening, we understand that there are 9 pillars when it comes to wellness, and one of those spaces in wellness is your mental wellness as well as your environmental wellness, and your environmental can include your living space, it can include it's
Mhm.
just the things that are around you, the media that you consume, that type of stuff. And I specifically use media that you consume because one of the things that Alicia focuses on is Black representation in the media, more specifically Black women.
Yes.
And how important that is for us on our wellness journeys to
Mhm.
see us represented, not even just on television, but in print, in music, in literature, in art, in so many different things. But Alicia, could you go a little bit deeper into your why behind why you wanted to highlight this specific area for us?
Yes. So my podcast calling Black Girls Den. Also, if you think about the den, you're like, it's a place where you sit, you watch, you relax. So I want it to be like a safe space, a chill space to kind of talk about all the issues that we go through. I felt like a really relatable thing is that we always often don't see ourselves on TV. If you see you see the award shows, the Golden Globes, the Oscars show, I can't even name all of them. Um, you see that we're often left out of the stories and that our movies aren't even getting, that recognition. Well, also growing up, I feel like it's a personal story to me because I think representation matters. But growing up, even to we were talking about earlier, those music videos, you don't always see a darker skinned woman. You always see red bone skinny. Like you always don't even see that. Even within our community, it's still colorism. So that's a real big issue. And so I was like, well, I want to basically take the power back and speak about things that affect women, but I'm also Black. So things that affect us, and that goes into seeing ourselves. That goes into what we watch. That goes into what we feed ourselves. And so I just thought TV would be a great representation because even as you see, right? 20 years ago, we had Girlfriends, we had Living Single, we had all these shows. Now they're cutting, well, Insecure, went off, right? But they cut Harlem, they cut the other show that I can't Run the World. Like they cut, the show shoot, I forgot what the show is called. Dang, the show with, Issa Rae with the 2 rappers. I know
Rap
somebody's gonna
shit.
yeah, they're just cutting our show, so time and time again, our stuff is getting cut down, canceled, barely anything. But then you see this show called Emily in Paris, and it's on its 6th season. And I have my thoughts about that show, and I'm on the 5th season. But yeah, so I was like, we have to kind of bring back our power. And I think so many people they talk about, a lot of podcasts is about money, dating, and all that stuff like that. I wanted to have a lane like where we really showed and honored our ancestors and shared our history. So I really wanted to bring a space where we kind of like talk about things that affect us that we see in the media. And then it's still to this day. Today, I talk about Girlfriends. We're rewatching it. It's still about dating. It's still about career. Like, there's still things that we can relate to that we could still have shows going on today. But for some reason, we're not getting that. So I wanted to kind of be the space where we could kind of have those real hard life adult conversations. And then tie it to something that we love oh so much, that's like nostalgic. So that's kind of why I went that way with it.
Yes, period. And with that, what show do you feel like has been the best representation of Black women? And maybe not one show, but maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was
Um, I would say now that I'm watching it, I would say that Girlfriends is kind of a good representation for us. It kind of does misses the millennial the modern age of it, but like the lessons are like the focal point is definitely very relatable. But we're more modernized now, and by that I mean, like, technology. It wasn't a lot of, like, technology, it wasn't like, "Oh, social media," you know, it wasn't like, "Oh, this person," so it wasn't a lot of that, but I think like, the lessons and the lens of, like, being in corporate, navigating friendships, now I feel like that shows a great representation. I feel like living single kinda sold us, you know, a little bit of fantasy because you're not always gonna be downstairs and upstairs with your friends. I feel like living single gave college maybe a little bit, and not in a negative way, but it's like, my friend is not upstairs. Like, if I had a friend that lived across the street, you know I'm always gonna be over there, but oftentimes we move, and so that's why I'm saying it's kinda different now because people move for jobs. Back then, people weren't moving for jobs. If you stayed there, you got your job there. So, I feel like there's still good shows, but it's not giving the modern society of, I guess, what is this called? Like the 21st century or later 21st century, whatever they say. So yeah, I think they're still really great shows. And then Insecure, like we talk about, is good. I haven't really talked about it on my show yet because we've been talking about older shows. I feel like Insecure is it's good, but it's like a different age range because it's like 30, but it's like it's specific to LA, you know? Um, and Molly was, like, a lawyer already, and Issa was still trying to figure out what she wanted to do, kinda she had, like, an idea, but I feel like it was kind of relatable, but I don't know if it was so relatable to me, but everybody loves Insecure, so I'm not giving no Insecure hate, but it was a different type of show to me. It had a lot going on, people having kids, babies on people, it's like, "Whoo, okay now, what's going on now?" People having families, but there's a lane for that for some people, right? So that's what I would say that comes to the top of my head. I used to have shows behind there, but I switched my, set because I moved, but I had, like, the shows behind there, so I was just trying to think. It was Living Single Girlfriends. It was The Proud Family because that was a young show, and, it had, like, like, the creators of the show, so that's what I'm trying to think on top of my head of.
Okay, okay,
Mm.
okay,
Mhm.
okay. I've always thought that I think all of them have, like, a generational effectiveness. So,
Yes.
like, the Gen Xers could relate to living single a little bit more. And then I wouldn't say the millennials could relate to girlfriends. I still think that's more of a Gen X relatability. Because when I think
Mhm.
about when girlfriend started, Joan was 29 and it was like
Yeah.
2001, right?
Yeah.
And then I feel like with Insecure was a little bit more millennial relatable with like
Mhm.
some of the themes that they talked about. The only thing in girlfriends, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to
No
interrupt you,
worries.
but because of the millennial part, I feel like Insecure was too older for when personally for when I watched it, because it's like I'm not even in my career. I feel like we missed that, like, 20s is a show that I kinda talked about, 20s with,
Mhm. That's
ET.
I think Lena Waithe did that show.
Lena Waithe, yes, yes, so, like,
Mhm.
she's talking about trying to be a writer and trying to figure out, so I felt like watching Insecure, I feel like their life was already together. Yvonne has the house. Well, let me say Molly, child, not Yvonne, but Molly has her house or her apartment, she has her career, like, she's trying to get into partner, and we see that her issues is, like, not being able to get up, but, like, she's already in her career, and Issa's, like, changing careers. I wasn't doing that when I was watching Insecure, I was, like, going to class, in class, you know? So I feel like we really missed that, like, 20s era of, like, what we're doing, and to your point, Joan was 29 and she was worried about having a baby and being single. That could still be relatable, but now people are in their late 30s still single and not having kids. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that is kind of what I was thinking,
Mm. Okay,
but
okay. Because I was gonna say for me, Insecure was very relatable to me because it came out in 2015. I was 26 when it came out. Was I 26? Yeah, I was, like, 26. So,
Insecure came out 2015?
came out 2015, fall of
Okay.
2015. And, I
I was a
remember
song.
my dad started watching it too, right?
Oh, okay.
And so I'm watching it. I didn't have discussions with him about it. He was just like, "Yeah, I stumbled across this show because he loves HBO. Stumbled across this show and da 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 da." da." And the end of season 1, uh Lawrence has sex with the jalapeno popper girl, the
Yes.
girl, right? And so when the season ended, I remember my dad said, he was like, "Oh, the show's a little too much."
That's how my dad is about sisters.
But yeah, but for my dad, I remember him saying, "It's too much for me," because he watches Power, he was watching The Wire, like, all of those things.
Oh my I need to
Insecure is too much for you, but he said, "I'm looking at these people because I guess I was 26, I was about the same age in that age group as them." So he was like, "It makes me feel like these are things that you're experiencing, and I
Mhm.
don't it makes me uncomfortable because I know you're probably experiencing some of the things or the themes that they're talking about." And I said, "Yep, sure am. Yep, yep, definitely,
But
absolutely."
But also, isn't that interesting though that your dad said it was too much, but they can watch Power, The Wire, they can watch all these, like I try, baby, I was clutching my pearls watching Power. I'm like, child, what going, baby? On my dad watches that, not to do that, but my dad watches Sisters, and he's like, oh, these women doing this, these women doing that, da da da. But you can watch Power, you can watch people Xing people, I don't want to say the word, unaliving people. You can watch people doing all, but what's real life, that's too much. And so even with that, like that even brings me up to why do we have to only have so much with black women with our stories? Like that even makes me keep wanting to talk.
It comes off as if like, when you think of, like, creators like Issa and Mara and Yvette and,
Mhm.
so many other people, Debbie Allen, like, they're putting a more humanistic side to Black women. It's taking away from the stereotypes that other shows probably make us not probably, but stereotypes that other shows make us look like. They're giving us more character arcs and giving us deeper having more depth versus being
Yeah,
um,
like one
so
dimensional,
superficial.
superficial.
And I think I've learned that it's like and we all know this, that the world wants Black women, but not too much,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that that's where the uncomfortability probably comes in of like, "Oh, they they experience pain." You know what I'm saying? Oh, because power is I mean, it's real for somebody, but for most people, it's just a story. It's
It's a
fake.
fantasy,
It's not
yes. Mhm.
but Insecure and we I wanna get into Girlfriends, but I know me and you gonna have a podcast episode to talk about Girlfriends. I don't wanna dig too deep into
Oh,
Girlfriends,
yeah.
but even with Girlfriends, and you look at the relationship between, like, Tony and Joan, and you look at the relationship between Issa and Molly, and the
Mhm,
amount of conflict that
mhm.
has been in those relationships and how real the conflicts are, like, that's real life shit that a
Yeah.
lot of women experience. How many times you go outside and you see somebody get popped over some booger sugar? You don't see you know what I'm saying? So I think it's sad that people look at our content and they're like, "Oh, they're real."
Yeah, like, what? But then also to that same extent, I could see how fathers have a different perspective, like, they're like, "Oh, it's my little girl, like, if she's going through that, this, that," but then I feel like that's what allows conversations and communication
Yeah,
to be able to be open to have those things like, "Oh, is this what you're going through? Is this is what life is like? Is this" like, I feel like we need to, like, break that layer of, like, having conversations about what is actually happening, and that's what's not going on. And if you think about it, media TV is all about conversation, it's all about storytelling. I didn't say this earlier, but I was like, I should say it now because I was like, I'm actually a writer too. So that's another reason why. That's another reason why I was starting the den because I want to write TV shows that you were saying like humanizes women that shows our stories that this. So it was just another way to be like, oh, okay, like talking to actors and seeing how they feel about it. How you were talking about like how friendships and stuff like that, and going watching the whole season you can even see conflict friendships. And that's why I guess I was saying that that part is kind of real too. But also the friendships, like I feel like it's a different way with friendships now because social media is added into like if we watch TikTok, now people are like outing their friends on TikTok or like sharing stories or whatever. So that's why I was saying like girlfriends is good for that conflict, but there's also another added layer that can be present for the now. Yeah.
be a good, like, premise to add into a show because I literally just watched a TikTok. This girl was like, "My friend ended our friendship because, something." I forgot
I mean
exactly
like
what
a
it was.
boyfriend or something like that. Or
Something like
boyfriend.
that. But it was like to me, I'm like, "Why you get on TikTok and talk about that?" To
'Cause
me,
she wanted to see if she was wrong, but also people don't have diaries, child.
that part too. 'Cause I'm not gonna get on the internet. I was literally telling my homegirl this. I was like, "If y'all get on my nerves, let me get on the internet and be like, 'Internet, let me
Mhm,
tell you how my friend had me fucked up.' First of all of y'all follow me, so you're gonna know that I'm talking about you." Like, which I think that's crazy, but I do think that is a good point that now with this digital age that we're in, it would be perfect to add that slice of nuance into
mhm.
storytelling and add that into like storylines and stuff like that to connect,
Yeah,
to connect the real world to,
mhm.
you know.
To what yeah, to add it to the girlfriends. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think she was talking about, people just come on the internet to ask questions to people and then they get mad, but I think she was trying to figure out if she overstepped her boundaries because she was like her friend was mad at her. And so I think she was just asking because she was like, there's no friendship.
Ask
But
another friend, don't get on TikTok. You don't got no other friend you could be like, girl.
yeah, and so, also there's this shock value too. Everybody talks about it on Facebook. Like people just post stuff to post. It could be a fake story for all we know. We
That,
don't even know
yeah,
if
I've
it's
heard that
real.
before.
Yeah, people do shock value. I do think people do shock value, but I also think people do be telling their business. And I think that there's a thin line between what's shock value and what's telling your business and everything like that. But to your point as well, people don't have community like that. So that's what I was trying to say. Like living single kind of gave us a false hope. Even girlfriends a little bit because we just not knocking on people's doors. We're not knocking on people's doors. They be like, text me before you come, call me. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're not even going to people's houses no more. So if you think about it, versus like I can knock on your door, like, oh hey girl, like this happened to me today versus like you're documenting your day on social media. So it's like I feel like it's an easier outlet and you're talking and you're sharing it. People are judging you, but then again, nobody's judging you. Like they're just saying something. Like I said something, people was trying to rip me to shreds, but I felt my way and I said what I have to say. So I think that that's another layer too. People aren't even having community. People are talking about how their friendships are dying, or there's not even friendships. They don't have people to talk to. So I feel like social media is an outlet that people use to talk. So if that was her only friend, child, who else she gonna talk to? I'm just using that as an
Yeah,
example, not
no,
necessarily
I
friend,
felt
but
that.
I think that that's we came to that on social media. It's more like a diary of word vomit than like just show, and people know that things can get viral, like the whole Risa Tisa story. People trying to be Risa Tisa, they be having 20 parts. I'd be like, child, give it to me in one part.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. So I want to do a slight pivot.
Okay.
And so I asked you what shows do you feel like were a great representation. Are there any shows that you feel like were not good representations of us? Even not even just in the sitcom space, if we look in the reality TV space, because that's also a place of representation where we can take that in and absorb it and use it as influence. Are there any shows you can think of that you had that made you look at it like this ain't putting us in a great light?
Yeah, I would definitely say all reality TV shows, honestly, if I'm gonna be real. Because I told you I was a writer, so I was right before. I don't even know what happened. I wrote like a blog about like reality TV versus real, like real scripted shows, and I'm like bring scripted shows back. One, because everybody's trying to be an influencer. Two, because it doesn't shine us in a good light. And 3, I just think that it's just, like, overtaken, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be like our counterpartners or stuff like that, but, like, to just like, we're too old to be fighting on the thing. Like, I'll tell you, I love Basketball Wives, I love that, but then I realized none of them are wives. They girlfriends or baby mom, like, first of all, and it's all this status, so I was like, "Okay," and then they weren't fighting when I was watching, but now it's gotten a little cattier. I never watched Real Housewives of anything, so I can't really speak to that, but I watched Love and Hip Hop, and I watched Love and Hip Hop. I watched it after the season came, Michelle went in on Rashida Child, but or Kirk. But even that, like, watching someone be humiliated on TV, someone having a baby on you, all the cheating, all of this, and then just knowing how they set up the scenes to do it, it's we're missing the plot. Like there was no the hip hop as the people. And I feel like sometimes we're missing the plot because of the drama, because of the storylines. And I feel like it represents us bad because that's not how all black women are. And they don't give I would say like they don't give an outlet for like all of Black women. It's only certain Black women. If you think about Baddies, I've never watched Baddies, but you just, you know about it. And now, even like Jocelyn's Cabaret, or even when Jocelyn was on there with Mimi, calling her a mate, it was just like, Loki was just like, it was I mean, it was funny, okay? But it was just like nasty in a sense when you're looking at it. Now I really don't even watch reality TV. And even we can go as far as Love is Blind. It's embarrassing Black women. Why are we watching shows that are embarrassing us? Love is Blind to Love. I never watched Love Island. I know about it, but these love shows are another. It's like, why are we humiliating Black women? They don't be liking Black women. Why are we going on there? Yeah, we're going on there to get followers, but then to deal with cyberbullying after we get followers, like, what is really the point? That's just
Yeah.
my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So that's all.
I I remember I remember when Love and Hip Hop first came out, like with Chrissy and all of them seasons. Like I
Mhm.
remember when me and my homegirl watched it, we would watch it every week. I remember when Basketball Wives first premiered. I remember when Real Housewives of Atlanta first premiered because that was the black one before Potomac came and took over and stuff. And
Mhm.
after like in the very beginning, it I liked the wealth that it showed us within,
Yeah.
especially Real Housewives of Atlanta, because none of those women were attached to, like, high profile men. Granted, like, we later found out that Lisa Wu's ex-husband is Keith Sweat, but that's neither here nor there. But
Mhm.
none of them were attached to high profile men. And even, Potomac Real Housewives of Potomac, their husbands weren't high profile. So I think for me, in the very beginning, before it started to get crazy and overly edited and all of these things, I feel like it showed us, you too can live a life like this because
Mm.
most of them had regular jobs. Like
Oh,
the
really?
husbands, yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah. The husband.
originally on Real Housewives, like when they was, and I say this in the most polite way, when they before the plastic surgery, when they was everybody was the kind of regular looking.
Mhm.
Okay? Like Greg didn't do anything that was like he did like regular not regular work, but anybody could do that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Oh,
like
you're
he
saying
was
like the husbands just did regular
they
jobs.
weren't in entertainment in this crazy way. They weren't like it wasn't anything like that. Like Deshaun's husband played basketball, but I think he was retired. Sheree was just getting divorced from her ex-husband.
Mhm.
Um and then Candy came on, and Candy had came on with her own, money, her own wealth, her own status. But in the very
Mhm.
beginning, it was just I'm just a housewife. I put on these events and I have charity functions and we, do these things. Like it wasn't this cattiness. And I think it started to become catty because of the shock value. Like even with Bad Girls Club used to be called Girls Behaving Badly. And it was
Really?
like how they had like fear not fear factor, scare tactics. It used to be this show you like scare your friends and stuff, and it was
Mhm.
like a hidden camera kinda show, and it was started by another I think she's Black. Yeah, Melissa's Black. She's Black and Filipino or something, and she used to
Mhm.
be on The Real World. She started it, and then
She's
it
on Bad Girls
evolved.
Club.
She started Bad Girls Club technically. Mhm. And, and then Bad Girls Club grew into being the toxic mess that it ended up becoming. But like everything, I feel like started from a space of wholesomeness. And then I think over
Mhm.
time, as people started, the fame started coming up, the money started getting
Yes,
more. There
social
were more,
media.
you know,
Uh-huh, that's when social media started, and yeah, money, mhm, yeah.
you know what I mean? Even when Love and Hip Hop started, it wasn't the first one. I'm saying I'm talking the New York one.
Oh, I
It
didn't watch that one.
wasn't as
Rock
it wasn't as
or
raunchy. It
Net Rock.
wasn't in the very beginning, it wasn't raunchy like that. At least the New York one. I mean, season 2, it did because Chrissy socked the shit out Kim Bella in that 2nd season. But like
Oh, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
I feel like I only watched 1 season of Love and Hip Hop in New York, that's what I was gonna
Mhm,
say. And maybe Love and Hip Hop LA, like, 1 or
mhm,
something like that,
mhm.
but I was like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, but to your like, to the point of it's like, okay, how many times are we gonna see Chrissy beg this man to marry her? How, like, how many times are we gonna keep embarrassing Black women? They don't wanna get married, they're cheating, they're doing it like, how many times do we have to see that? We don't need that
Even with
representation.
Even with Flavor Flav, that was the same thing. I sit and I watch Flavor Love a lot
Mhm.
just 'cause it's a hilarious show to me. But even to that point, like New York, Tiffany Pollard, she
Yeah,
is reality TV royalty, but
yeah.
we watched that woman go on there 2 times, kiss, sleep
2
with Flavor
times.
Flav, and didn't get picked.
I didn't even watch Flavor Flav, but I did watch Real Chance of Love. I feel like he made it for them. Not he made it for them, but, like, I watched that.
Listen, it like, even that those shows, it was like you're right, in the representation of we're watching y'all beg, we're watching y'all fight, we're watching
Mhm.
y'all it's showing it
It's sending
perpetuate
messages to younger, yeah. It's
yeah, that
sending
was
messages to younger women. Well, if this is happening, then I'll just take it and and it's like, no. And I didn't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I didn't know. I thought they men had jobs where they just was housewives, but then I heard Candy was on there, so I didn't really watch that. But I was gonna say another show that could be a little bit better. I'm not necessarily for sure, but she made this to kind of make it better. Married to Medicine. I don't watch it, but I know the creator, she made it because she wanted to show two-parent family homes, people being married to men. So I was like, okay, that's good. But now she doesn't even do it. To your point, she was the executive producer, but now it's probably messier now. I don't know because I don't watch it, so I don't want to speak on it. But
watch it, but I see, like, the clips and stuff like that, like, it's messy and it's
even Love and Marriage, like Melody was
mhm.
doing that with Love and Marriage Huntsville. I was like, okay, this is cool. There's drama, but then to see whatever his name is, Martell cheating on Melody. Y'all got 5 kids. Y'all can't show nothing else. Her song was good though, I will say that. But and so now they have one in Detroit, and it's just like, okay, I get that there's drama and stuff, but like, why does it always have to be cheating? Why does it always have to be lying, having kids? Like, can we get like at this point it's old news? Like, because why do we keep having the same stuff going on? And then you're having people like us watching it, and you watch it every week, and it's toxic. It's fun. It's for ratings, but like, it's not necessarily helping us move forward. And yeah, that's why I feel like those are kind of not, and I was gonna say one maybe sitcom as well. It might not be so negative, but the Parkers, we see Nikki beg
Dang it, but I
for.
didn't wanna say it, and I'm glad you said it. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it because you said reality, but like it was a positive show because it does show, like, it shows that college, that spin-off, like working for yourself, not working for yourself, working towards a goal. It shows that mother and daughter relationship. I also want to have that conversation too, but it's like, why do we constantly see Nikki begging for love for Professor Ogilvy? Like, it was funny when you watched it, but now being in that representation of like a heavier set, darker skinned woman throwing herself at a man who is not even caring for her to like the last season. Like, what? No, thank you.
One of the things about the Parkers that irks me, and it goes into a trope that often see Black women fall into, and it's the fat friend trope, or it's the fat woman trope.
Mhm.
And with the Parkers, and I loved Monique down as a kid. I loved Monique when I was a teenager, preteen, because that's when Monique came out with her "Skinny women are evil. I hate skinny bitches." Like, I watched my movie that I love of hers is called Plus Size. And it's like a D movie, but it it is she's so funny. Like, she's on her funniest shit in that movie. It's so funny. And Fat Girls, that's what it's called.
Okay,
It's
yeah, I was
her
like, I didn't even know she even made jokes about skinny people or whatever.
Yes, that was
Even
her
like,
whole thing. Her whole thing when she first came out was she talked big shit about skinny women and skinny women
and now
sex
she's
sucks.
skinny.
She would say all kind of stuff, right? But what I hated the most about the Parkers, and I caught this when I was a kid, the transition of Kim going from Moesha to the Parkers always made me upset because Kim on Moesha, she was smart, she was witty, she
Mm.
was she was funny. Like, Kim was like the best character. She was hilarious, right? But at towards her getting ready to leave Moesha, they started making Kim stupid. They made her very overly boy obsessed, and they started to make more jokes about her weight. When in actuality, Countess Vaughn at that it was fun, and Kim had the best clothes. I thought Kim dressed better than Moesha. She was a better friend in some cases than Moesha. And then when they brought her over to the Parkers, it was like they sucked the soul out of Kim and they
Yeah.
made her really stupid.
Like the
And
yeah. Mm,
yeah, and it was like y'all were I felt like they were doing the funny, stupid fat friend. And they don't just do it for like black fat characters. They do it for white fat characters too, where they take on you're the funny one, or you're the ditzy one, or you're the overly um "Oh, no one likes me because I'm fat." Like
mm.
that role. But I
Even Kelly did it. That was an Insecure. Like Kelly was a fat friend, Natasha in Insecure. Do you think?
no, I don't think that. I think they also have the funny fat friend. Kelly was the funny fat friend.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but and I felt that was her. I really did. Girlfriends, I think for me always made me upset because there weren't enough plus size girls. When they did, I think did Jill Scott come on the show for a little bit? No, I think Jill Scott might was on an episode, but they really didn't have a plus size character in there with them. Living Single at least had Queen Latifah, and Queen Latifah was like an acceptable plus size. But then when
Mhm.
we got the Parkers, it felt like every stereotype in the book about bigger Black women was just
Mhm.
highlighted in the show. And I don't
Mhm.
take away from the great things that they did on the show, the things that they highlighted and stuff like that, but I feel like the way that that show was done, it was it was just very stereotypical, and like you said,
The
with
Parkers.
Nique chasing after Stanley for all of those years, and then she finally got with the guy that loved her, wanted to be with her, and she left that nigga for Stanley Ogilvy? She should have married that man at the end. Just like what always makes me upset is with like Khadijah's character on Living Single. Granted, I get it. There probably wouldn't have been seasons after it, but she should have got with Alonzo. Scooter was
Mhm.
playing with her for all 5
Scooter,
seasons until
yeah,
the
Scooter
last
was playing.
episode.
Scooter was playing. Mhm. Yeah.
But The Parkers is always one of those shows that just always it grinds my gears because y'all should have kept Kim how Kim was in season 1 and season 2 of Moesha. That was
Mhm.
top tier Kim.
That's the case. Uh-huh.
Man, and then they just dwindled her on down.
Oh, and I'm wondering if they knew that they were gonna, like, start a new show or, like, they were gonna do a spinoff, and that was another thing I would say too, I mean, I didn't watch all season of Moesha, I only watched a couple seasons of Moesha, but I was gonna say the spinoffs because actually The Game is really, like, one of my favorite shows, and that was a spinoff of Girlfriends, with Melanie being Joan's cousin, kinda, like, towards the end or whatever, so that was interesting of that spinoff too. And that's another thing too, like, bigger women aren't really shown on TV. Now this girl said that's why she didn't watch Girlfriends, but then she said she also watched The Golden Girls, so I was kinda confused, but I was like, "Okay." But yeah, Girlfriends didn't have that. And I mean, yeah, Tony and Maya, they were, like, more chocolate or whatever. I didn't even think about that, but, like, watching it back as I'm older, now I can notice it, but, like, it came out in 2001, I was literally in 1st grade, so I wasn't watching Girlfriends when it first came out. I didn't know anything about it. So now switching it now watching it from a different lens, I can see that and it's like, where are the brown skin, like, bigger girls, like, where's the representation at? And how we're talking about, environmental health and wellness, it's just like, if you don't see yourself on there, you can have certain complexes, you can have things be like, "Okay, am I enough?" That can lead into, insecurity, that can lead into, depression, like, all that stuff can affect everything that you have going on your day-to-day life because the media is not representing you. And we also can't just wait on the media to represent us too. I think
Absolutely.
that's the other part too, because as we see, they'll play in your face. I didn't even know that they changed Kim's character because I didn't watch all the seasons, but
Mhm.
play in your face every day.
Mhm. I mean, and for me, I think because when I started watching Moesha, I remember when Moesha premiered. I think I was in the 3rd grade when Moesha came out.
It was like 1995.
97, 96, 97, and then the Parkers came out, I think I was in the 5th or 6th grade, and then Girlfriends came out, I was in 7th grade because I remember a lot of the girls watched Girlfriends. and stuff a lot because that was our Mondays and Tuesdays was like all the black shows. So like Moesha would come on and then the Parkers would come on and Girlfriends used to come on at 9. I couldn't
Oh,
stay up and watch Girlfriends. And then something came on either like I think Half and Half might have came out by this time. But then like
was when Girlfriends came out.
Girlfriends came out 2001.
Oh, it was 2001. Okay, okay. I was just making sure 2001. Oh, okay.
And I remember back then people tried to compare Girlfriends to Sex and the City.
Yes.
As I've watched all of Sex and the City as an adult, I'm like, compare Girlfriends and Sex and the City.
I heard the comparison of Friends and Living Single.
I heard that, yes, that comparison is very
Oh,
real.
oh,
That
it is?
that's
Okay.
a very mirrored comparison because they were under the same production, like, company. They're
Oh.
both Warner Brothers shows, and so one of the things that Erica Alexander always says in interviews, she said, "Look at how some of our episodes were. They're the Friends does the same exact episodes." So, like, yeah, and it's yeah,
I
but
never watched Friends or Sex and the City.
Sex and the City is actually really good. It's really, really good. It is very relatable, even though it's no black main characters. Like the only person we get black that comes in is Blair Underwood, and that's like in the last season. But a lot of people try to compare Girlfriends in Sex and the City, and I'm like, I don't see that, but go off. But yeah, watching the Parkers, it was even as a kid, I just was like, y'all blowing me real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
I have
Um,
to watch to add that Sex in the City.
yeah, watch it from and I would say, granted, there are some things I think it's more relatable to me now that I'm in my 30s and I'm almost in my 40s that
Mm,
I relate a lot to the themes that they talk. Girl, back then, people when I was in school, people was watching Sex and the City, and I remember thinking to myself, that's a grown woman show. What y'all go watching Sex and the City? Like Sex and the City
yeah.
ended my sophomore year of high school, and a lot of girls watched that finale, and I was like, this why y'all fast now, cause y'all watching Sex in the City. Meanwhile, I'm watching Soul Food, the series. It's
But can we
like,
talk about that? I have not watched Sex in the City, but have you watched Emily in Paris?
I have not watched Emily in Paris. I've heard that I should watch it.
And so I don't know about Sex in the City, but from the show I can understand because she had like I know Carrie Bradshaw, she had like a column where she talked about her dating and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So this is also the thing that I feel like is rubbing me the wrong way with black shows and black women and white girl TV shows. My dad be like, "Oh, sisters, like they're sleeping with this person, they sleep with that person." I'm like, "Okay, but like that, like it's Atlanta. You're in your 30s. Like people are gonna sleep with different people, right?" Emily in Paris, it's on the season. Well, it's five season now. It doesn't sound like a lot, but with the show, like she's already basically slept with like 3 dudes. And we don't even know if it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. But I feel like Emily in Paris, like Emily is able to be so free. I feel like we don't have a black girl show that she just able to be so free, just do what she want to do, explore the world. She moves to Paris for a job. She meets the dude that's downstairs. He's a chef, but then basically, I'm sorry, I don't really want to spoil it, but I'm kind of spoiling it. So sorry, spoiler. Yes, spoiler alert. And so she messes with the chef, but the chef has a girlfriend. She doesn't know, right? So that's okay. She doesn't know, but she's still cool with him. But then she meets another guy, and so she starts messing with that guy. Then she just messing with another guy, and I'm just like, what would it look like? I've seen it on threads, like, what would it look like for just like a black woman to just be like free art, like, okay, I'm on to the next dude. There's so many stereotypes that are people, we can't even just be free in a TV show. They're so like, oh, we got to think about, like, they ain't talking about STDs, now they are in Europe and stuff like that, but they ain't nothing talking about STDs, nobody talking about she's this, she's this, she's that. And that's kind of maybe the French culture, that's what I'm kind of picking up to as well. But it's just like, what black show do we have that the main character is just free? Besides, she gotta have it. I love that show.
It was
She
a good
gotta have
show.
it. I think it was fun. She got to explore. She got to see like who she wanted to be with, and she got to really just like focus on herself. But besides that, and then look, they canceled that after 2
3
seasons. I was
seasons.
like,
Oh,
3.
2, yeah, we only got 2
Yeah, 2.
seasons.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's the 3rd season?" So I'm like, where's our like black woman who gets to just like move to another country and just like explore and have fun work and just, let free, no expectations. And I know women who do that, maybe not the work part, but maybe they just travel, they go do whatever they want to do. But it's like we don't have that in there. And that's what I was telling you about, that freedom, that free will. Like, where is our freedom show? Like, I don't want to say it like that. Our free
Yeah.
will show to just, bask and just live. Not worried about anything. We always have to have something to think. Like, even girlfriends, like, it's always like something has to happen. Something is this, something is that. It's
Something
never just like,
struggle, something
yeah, something
yeah.
like, yeah, like, we don't have to struggle. Like, why is that all that we have to see? We can't see this. We can't see her going on this. I need to do a show, a day every night. Okay, let me not get my ideas out, but, like, why can't she go on a date every night? Why can't she have fun?
Mhm.
Why does she just have to be so worried about work, work, work? Like, Molly was worried about work, 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 and then the life, like, what about if she just quit her job and she just went on dates? Why
For her
why don't we
job
get
and went and lived overseas.
Yeah, like, why don't we get to see that? And that's literally happened. There's a big expat community all over. Like, why can't we see that on TV? So, that's just mine.
About one of the shows that I did watch from top to bottom was Girls on HBO.
Oh, you did.
It is a Lena Dunham show. She's a fruitcake, but Lord of mercy. Um, and it's funny because I think Girls ended around the time that Insecure started. And I people tried to compare Girls and Insecure. Girls was a hot mess of it. It was a good show, but it was a hot mess of a show.
Mhm.
But it was I think the girls were in their 20s, so that's why it was so much more hot, messy, and things like that, but it was widely accepted, and it was widely acclaimed and appreciated and all these things, and I said, "We have that messiness to us too." I just don't think that it's always accepted, and when we
Yeah.
do put it like, we have the show 20s, Lena Waithe's show 20s, and even I'm a little upset that, when Lena did, oh my gosh, the Boomerang series,
Yeah.
and I think that wasn't widely accepted or fully appreciated,
Mhm.
and I think when a lot of the shows come on to BET, unfortunately, it doesn't get a lot of eyes on it, and I don't think it gets a lot of funding, I don't think it gets all of these things,
Mhm.
because you see, like, Sisters has been on,
For 10 seasons.
but Sisters is it's soap opera-y, you know what I'm saying?
So what?
It's soap opera-y, like, it's soap
Oh, soap
opera-ish.
opera. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what they wanna do. Yeah, they wanna make it soap opera. It's like, oh my gosh, this is yeah.
You
I think that's
know, like
exactly.
Tyler Perry, that's all he does is make these soap opera-esque television shows without, like, shows that have, like, good character development and, like, all of these things, like, everything is just, like, so all over the place and shock value and, everything like that, and I think
Yes.
that we do deserve shows that have the depth and the nuance like Insecure gave us, that Harlem
Mhm.
gave us, that Run the
Mhm.
World gave us, and, I do wanna do a quick pivot of, like, even Black children representation from, like, children's media that we may have grown up on. Did you have any particular show or any Black representation that you looked at and you said, "I like that right there?"
Well, yeah, I guess I watched The Proud Family and That's So
Mhm,
Raven.
mhm,
Those would probably be my main shows that I
mhm,
watch.
mhm,
As I got older, I actually really like the Cleveland show. You
okay.
hear Family Guy, but I like the Cleveland show. Um, I didn't really necessarily know if they was black, but I might have thought the Wild Thornberrys was black.
A lot of people say that they have their
So
Black Jace.
so they might be black. I thought that that was kind of a good show. Oh, and of course, well, before, Little Bill, I did watch
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other shows that I watched. Those are the ones that come to the top of my head. I do want to add pivot just a little bit, but I was going to say I was in college when Insecure came out, but also I think to your point, well, to a little bit of your point, like HBO. I didn't know anything about HBO, so I feel like sometimes like it's like I do understand why Insecure was on HBO because of the risque content, but all the time, like we more or less know BET, MTV, like all these different things that are coming out. And if you're not really on social media or something like that, or I didn't know I honestly didn't know Issa Rae from Awkward Black. My introduction to her was Insecure, and then I heard about Awkward Black Girl. So I feel like sometimes too with that, like you're going on these different platforms, but we don't even know that these shows are even out here. So I feel like that's kind of hard too as well. Like, Harlem was on something, Amazon Prime, or Runaway, like, it's all on these different platforms that people don't even know, and it's like, it's too late to find out, and there's no funding to push it, so just wanted to add that on there, and now we can pivot back.
No, but that's a good point because we don't get to be on the big 4. The ABCs, NBCs, CBS, Fox, like, we don't get that, and at one point in time, Fox was all about Black and minority content, and then
Yeah,
they pivoted. That's why Living Single ended up going off. That's why more so Martin Lawrence was going through his own thing, but a
I
lot of
get
the Black content was they
uh-huh.
pushed that out. They use it. Same thing with UPN, same thing with CW.
They use the Black content and then they pushed out. That's what they did on Issa Rae's thing, I will say that, Living Color, yes, they said that on I don't know if you watched Issa Rae's documentary, it was called, like, See, Hear, some
Watch hers, but yeah.
yes, they used it for that and then they kicked us out, and that's rude, yes, I do remember them saying that, and it's just like, what is going like, what? It's like you see that these are the numbers, like, these are what people wanna watch, and yeah, to your point, the 4 big, and if we're not getting on there, even Netflix, like, the girl who was on Emily in Paris, the star, the main character, she has 18.9 million followers on Instagram, and I just seen that because I looked today, but she has a global audience. She's people who speak French can watch it, people who speak now I don't wanna give away, but Italian a little bit, but it's more people speaking French because 'cause I'm like, I gotta look at the dang I gotta look at the dang,
Titles.
yeah, subtitles, but if you speak French, you know, so it's like you and people who aren't in France and could just even if you speak French, right, you can watch it, so I'm just like, think about that spread of it, you know? Like, think about all those eyes on you. What would it look like if there was, like, a Black show like that on Netflix? And just think about the opportunity of the characters and the growth and how you said, like, she has a character arc and the stories and just everything in that, just thinking about if we were on, like, bigger platforms, what that could do for us.
Yeah. I will say there is a show on Netflix that I love, The Upshaws. It's a all Black cast. It's
Yes,
hilarious.
with,
Hilarious.
I forgot his name,
Mike Epps. Mhm.
Mike Epps, yes, uh-huh. I see that
Mhm.
it came back on, I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it recently, but I did watch it before, I think it's funny.
It's and their last season starts tomorrow. It comes to out tomorrow, which
It's the
is
last
like
season?
the last season, girl, yes.
Like, what? Oh, that makes it My Wife and Kids.
Mhm.
That grew up on My Wife and Kids. I thought that that was good. I did watch Martin. And yeah, even that's interesting. But yeah, it's like how many seasons do they have? What
I
is it?
think they might be at like 6, but their seasons on The Upshaws is short. It's only 6 episodes.
You know, Emily in Paris got 10
And
episodes.
for years, we asked Issa Rae, "Give us an hour-long episodes," and
She
it's
and
never.
they only got 8 episodes. I can't believe they only get 6 episodes. Right now it's about 8. And Emily in Paris, you know how you're only supposed to really have like 20 minutes, or like 25 minutes kind of on Netflix. Then be 30-minute, 35-minute, 32. Like I'm looking at all that and it's honestly discouraging as a writer. They talk about that too. Like it's discouraging, like, okay, it's so great, like once you get it, but then you kinda keep getting it. But it's like it's discouraging as creatives, and that's what I can see that people probably don't even try because when you try, you get nowhere. Only 6 episodes. Like, is this a mini series? Why is it only 6 episodes for a season? Back then, Martin, when I can't even keep up with girlfriends because there's 20 episodes for one
Yes.
season.
Yep,
I'm
that's
like,
how it
"Y'all
used to
gonna
be.
do a whole weekend." It used to be 20 episodes. 20 was that. Even I'm trying to catch up on a different world. I was slowly catching up on a different world. 20 episodes. I mean, not 20 seasons. And so it's just like we're losing everything. Even Issa, I think Issa wanted to stop at 5 seasons, but even that, like, she could have kept going. She could have had 10 seasons, just like Sisters are 12. Like, it could have been so much, but you know, some people want to stop like when it's the height of the show.
Mhm.
So I understand that, but it's also like, why don't we get to keep having these long seasons, shows? Like, why do we have to stop with our shows when there's new seasons of other shows all the time?
Mhm.
It's disheartening,
I
actually.
think the big thing that's changed is syndication. Shows aren't getting in syndication like they used to. So, like, the thing was with television, when you hit 100, I think, like, 100 episodes,
Yeah.
you
You
syndication
can
starts.
syndication. But they're not even hitting 100.
They're not hitting 100, and shows aren't being syndicated the same way anymore. So I feel like maybe people feel like, "Oh, there's not as much pressure to syndicate." Like, so much pressure to try to get to the certain number, and then you know what I'm
Because
saying?
you get money or something like that? you like, if the number changes.
What happens is, this is just my assumption, and I should probably do research on this. Going on like Netflix and getting one season and it's like 6 to 8 episodes or 10 like Emily in Paris, Netflix probably says, "Hey, we'll give you $60 million and we want you to do 8 episodes and we'll see how the first season goes. And if it goes good, we'll up your pay and you can keep doing your seasons the way that you want to do it." Like, I feel like there's some type of stipulation in the contracts now because it's not like how it was with the Big Four. Like,
Mhm.
there was no payout to they're constantly running the show versus with now streaming, you can pop it on at any time. Like, I know they say that streaming dollars is so little. I know that's one thing that a lot of actors have said, that their revenue or their royalty checks from streaming, peanuts.
And that's crazy because Netflix is literally getting so much money and they're going up and they're getting podcasts now. I don't agree with that. Like, this is audio. But that's why I guess I knew syndication was 100 and after 100 you get something. But like, even with, yeah, you get like royalty checks, but it's like crazy because you're not even, if they drop episodes, it was easy to get 100 episodes when you did 20 episodes a season. Now they're doing 8 or 10, like, you're not getting there. And it's like, now it's changing. Now everybody wants to do streaming. But honestly, when you add up all these streamings from Netflix to Paramount to Amazon, like, you might as well do cable.
Might as well.
You might as well pay for cable. So it's just like something is going in there. I think that's too, and that's why people are on YouTube. Even Issa Rae. Issa Rae was talking about how she was like, she could just go on YouTube. Like, now you have to work with production and all that stuff like that. But people are posting their short films on YouTube. People are posting their Key TV network.
Yeah.
People are posting their own TV shows on YouTube just because it's an easier way to just try to get it out there and put it out there because there's so many stipulations. And it's like, well, if I'm going to make it, I'm just going to do it myself and get paid my way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's crazy. And one quick thing I wanted to touch on before we go, when I mentioned about like the representation seen from
mhm.
children. One big representation that I loved was Gullah Gullah Island. That was, I think every Black kid, if you were around preschool around that time that that show came out, that
Mhm.
just was, it was tea. It was tea. It was so Black. It was
Mhm.
such, for it to be on Nick Jr., it was a Black ass show. It
Mhm.
was so Black. But I one thing, as being a plus size girl, being a Black girl, the one actress in my life, just like Beyonce, I feel like Beyonce is the artist of my life because
Mhm.
Beyonce was there from the time I was 8 years old. Beyonce is the artist of my life. But
Mhm.
if I look at the actress of my life that I feel like inspired me and made me feel seen and made me feel, you know, represented, is Raven Simone.
Oh.
Raven Simone, like, especially when she did That's So Raven, when she came out, That's So Raven, Cheetah Girls, and
Mhm.
College Road Trip, and all of those things. She was plus, what they said plus size was, but she was plus size and she was a baddie. The hair was laid, the clothes was
Mhm.
on point, like, she was gorgeous, she could act her ass off, and that, she made me feel so seen. Her, and I would say Takara from America's Next Top Model, because Takara was plus size and she had the hard, she was probably the best broad on the show, but she had such a hard time because of the way that they claimed they couldn't market her, but her story was so relatable. Her story was so, so relatable. But those were like two faces in media that I looked at and I felt like that I could connect to. Do you have two faces in media that you looked at and you said, "Wow, I can connect with them"?
That's great. That's a story. I wanted to add Franklin for the character. Franklin was a good show. Two people that I feel like I could connect with. That's a great question. I'm trying to think. Two people that I feel like I see myself in. I don't even know. Oh, well, one person that I feel like is like, oh, wow, I wanted to do media. I feel like Oprah Winfrey was one person. Because she was a talk show, she was talking and she had that really good. And then I'm trying to think of somebody else that I'm like, "Oh, this is a really good representation." I actually watched a lot of judge shows when I grew up. So I love some Judge
I
Maybelline.
knew you was gonna say her.
I love Judge Maybelline, she was good, but I also like Judge Lynn Toler. So I would say, yeah, like, even while I want to be like a judge or like want I was like, 'cause I watch those shows all the time, and I feel like they gave real good advice. They was like boom, 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 with it, talking to the people. So I excuse me. I would say those were people who like I constantly see and I constantly watched, and they would be probably good people. I think I'm like blanking on other people, because I felt like because I was gonna add earlier about the negative part about it. It's like even the movie Precious, like, with, Gabrielle and, like, again, Monique or whatever. So, like, I don't really feel like those shows, like, really show great representations, but I know we wanna end on a positive note, so I will go with Oprah Winfrey and Judge Maybelline. Julie was, like, darker skinned. Oprah, was Oprah, right? So I feel like them. To your point, I definitely love Beyonce. I'm trying to figure out if there was like a music artist or anything like that that would have done it for me, and now I'm like blanking because not really that I can think of. I did love that getting older. Like Kelly Rowland. Like I love like there was like darker skin
Mhm.
women a little bit that you could see, but not really that I was like, oh yes, like this person like is me, or like I could be this person or like see me in this person. So yeah, that I don't think I have gotten that one yet. So yeah.
Well, as we kinda close out on a positive note, is
Uh-huh.
there anything that you would like to leave with the people when we look at media and Black representation?
Mhm. I think that a lot of stuff that people are say is like, it's not that deep, everything's not that deep, but sometimes things are that deep, and when you think about it, you take a step back and critically think, like, use your lens to say, does this represent me? Or is this me? Like, and then you can kind of open your eyes to it more to see like how, especially if it's Black women who are listening, and you probably already know, but if you're not and you're of other races, other genders, just seeing how we are portrayed online, in the media, and then just learn how to be open and have conversations. And then with that, we can have more people like, I don't want to say supporters, but like more allies. Like, you need more allies. You need people to speak up for you. So I think that it's important to always look at things, and not saying that like everything has to be like, oh, we have to have Black people and we have to, not even like that, but the lack of representation, and then see if you're represented, whatever you are. See if you are represented in whatever you're going through or whatever you identify as. And from then, that's when you can see if there's lack of representation. And I feel like as much as I talked about it, even with colorism, like within the community, like there is a lot of lack of representation. There's a lot of isms in general. And you can see that when you're made aware of it, and if you have not ever made aware of it, you might have not thought about it. So now, when you look at media, from the movies, from TVs, from even social media, like you said, even the print, like take a step back and say like, how does this represent this certain person? Well, this Black woman, okay? If you look at like, how does this represent? Do you see a lot of bigger women? Do you see a lot of light skinned women? Do you see a lot of dark skinned women? Do you see women that look different or not look different? I think that that is something that can kind of help us move forward with these conversations, and making sure that representation is at the forefront, and that all in all together it helps overall with the way we move in society, because we can only tell our own stories. Everybody can't tell our stories for us. So I think that's something that I would leave with people, to just, watch, listen, and observe, and take notes. So,
Yes,
yes.
yes. How can the people find you?
The people can find me on Instagram and YouTube. Of course, Black Girls Den Podcast. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast at. I upload every Wednesday, and I'm one person. So, Wednesdays, certain times, 12 o'clock is my goal for YouTube. And Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And then personally, if you like me, if you want to listen to me, I talk crazy, do different things. You can follow me on Instagram at Life with Leisha and TikTok at Life with Leisha. So
Yes, and y'all know I'm gonna put it in the episode description on YouTube and on all of our streaming places and spaces. Thank you
yes.
so much for being on the show.
Yes, thanks for having me. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about the live that you're joining.
Yes, so on January the 26th, that is a
Yes.
Monday, y'all, at 8 PM,
Yes.
I'm gonna be on live with Alicia on Instagram, right?
No, it's on
On
YouTube.
YouTube, I'm tripping because you sent me the StreamYard link. Okay. I'm
Yes.
going to be on YouTube and we're talking about a girlfriends episode and we're just gonna dig into the nitty-gritties of it.
Yeah, well, we're talking about girlfriends in general.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about all the main characters, on how they navigate life because, it is normal, it is, a common topic. I like to have you did wellness, so I like to have, like, your perspective on, like, how their wellness is. I try to have, like, a therapist on that we're gonna see, but I wanted to kinda talk about all the characters and, like, how they intertwine and different things. It's basically, like, just like a couch conversation, basically, like, like a therapy couch conversation, and so, yeah, it will be on YouTube Live. So you could just subscribe, Black Girls Den Podcast, and check us out January 26th. It's the last Monday, if that helps you with anything. It's the last Monday of every month. And then on the first Sundays, I talk about like the show in general. Like I just talk about the show and the topic. I'm actually doing a living single one for February 1st because, it's all about love and like romantic. Yeah, you could just subscribe there, check us out, and hope to see y'all there.
Yes. And of
Yeah.
course, as
Thank
always, it goes into the link. So yeah.
Yes, thanks for having me. Thanks for I don't know who reached out or whatever, but thank you for inviting me on. I really enjoyed this to, be a guest on somebody else's show.
Yeah, shout out to Threads. Threads is bringing the girls
Yes,
together.
Threads is yes, definitely bringing the girls together. Love that.
Yes.
And no matter the city or the zip
Period. Well, y'all know, without further ado, as always, do not forget to do the things. Remember, before you go, thank you for liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, telling a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because you know that that helps for the show to grow and for my voice to be heard in other people's ears or seen on other people's screens. As always, y'all, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so
Mhm.
much for being uniquely thick. See ya.
Yes. Bye.
Woo!